In today's session, we're going to cover how to correctly appeal a GMC suspension. And we picked this subject up because a lot of people struggle with this. They get suspended and they don't know what to do. The first impulse is to go and click the review without even thinking about what's happened. This is a dummy GMC account that we created for the stream purposes, because for privacy reasons, we cannot share clients' accounts. But it will be good enough to go to do an overview of how you need to navigate the account. So let's say, for example, that you get suspended, you get the notification. Let's go back a week. For example, you were enjoying your conversions and how your shopping ads were working and clicking and all of that. And suddenly you get a notification and you see an email from Google saying that your products now have limited visibility. Limited visibility is the polite way for Google to say, game over to your GMC account, basically. That's what they are saying. And sometimes they say that your account has been permanently suspended, but there are a lot of things that Google doesn't explain to you when they suspend you. They just share links with you, and you need to deal with that. That's basically Google's way. But nowadays, let's say for 2026, you don't get unlimited review attempts. You just get free. And that means that you cannot go in your account and blindly start requesting reviews, because that will be a mistake. You can get your account banned that way. And that's something that Google doesn't tell you either. So Google lately has been installing like AI and algorithms in all their systems. And that means two things. I mean, installing AI and using algorithms, one, takes jobs away, that's progress. But two, their systems are completely automatic. And that means that when you try to deal with Google, it's really hard to deal with a person at the beginning. You're going to deal with a bot, or you're going to deal with a representative that behaves like a bot. So before you appeal your suspension, you need to prepare yourself. You need to breathe a little bit and prepare yourself to deal with Google, because that's the tough part. Dealing with Google is tougher than the suspension sometimes. So before you do that, there are two things that you should not do. You get suspended, all right. Stay calm and don't delete your account. That's a common impulse that a lot of store owners have. They see that their account is suspended, it's not working. All right, I just delete the account and create a new one. No, don't do that. That's checkmate for your account, and your new account will get instantly suspended. So, because Google tracks your suspension back, and if you use the same domain, if you use the same contact information for your new account, that's how Google gets you. The second thing is you will have the impulse to go to this section. Obviously, in this account, you are not going to see the misrepresentation issue, but this is the section where you will see your suspension and what your suspension is. And you will see the I disagree with this issue button that they have around here. And you can click that and say, request a review. All right, if you do that, that's wasting one of your attempts. And if you do that blindly, without even checking your GMC account or without even looking at your website and what could have caused the issue, well, then you are wasting an attempt and you are going to trigger a cooldown period. So there are two ways to contact Google. There are two ways to request a review. One way is doing that, requesting the review right here. And the other one is going through the help center and support options and menu and try to get to chat or email Google support. That way, if you do it that way, that's the way we recommend here. If you do it that way, you will be able to explain yourself a little bit more. You will be able to say what you work on, what you fixed, what you adjusted on your website, and on your GMC account. And this person, this representative, because the representative you're going to deal with is not the person that is going to check and review your account. That's an intermediate. This person is going to send your request to the wider team. That's how they call them. They are like gods within Google, or at least they present themselves like that. And this wider team is the one that is going to tell you, all right, we don't want people to feel misled, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they are not going to explain why you are still suspended. So if you blindly go and request a review, an automatic review by clicking here, well, that's going to be an issue. So, and what you should do is, we have a template that I'm going to share with you, is linked in the description as well. And in this template, what we do is give like a roundup, and it's like a draft you can use to communicate with Google and what to communicate with Google. Okay, so let's say, for example, that you start checking your account, you open the GMC account, you see that it's suspended. All right. First thing that you need to see is why your account is suspended, usually misrepresentation, all right? But then you need to check your settings. One of the most important ones is your business information. And here you have your business address, you have your business name, and you have your customer service information, okay? So for example, for the business name, you shouldn't include a .com or all in caps name. This name has to match exactly with your website name. That's what's recommended. And it has to match exactly on how your website presents the business name in, let's say, the contact page, the footer, and all your policies. Basically your brand, it has to match. The other thing is the business address. And this is a really difficult topic for a lot of people, because basically merchants there are like an online store service. They don't have a physical presence. So the business address, it's a topic of controversy, let's say. And the biggest mistake merchants make is including a PO box address here or a virtual office address. Why is this a mistake? Because Google should be able to check the business address. They need to find that in Google Maps, let's say like that. It has to be a real address, and it has to be a real address that your business is there. Not a physical business, but for example, let's say that you include your home address. And that's not ideal. You don't want to include your home address, but that is way better than including a virtual office or a PO box. And every time that you change your business address here, well, Google will review that. And if they find some mismatch between what you are saying here and what you are saying on your website, well, they will flag your account. Same thing here. The customer service section here in the website URL is not your domain. What you need to include here is the link to your contact page. And then your contact email, this has to be the same as the one that you have on your website as well. And your phone number, which needs to be verified and needs to match with the country that you set your account for. So that's one of the biggest issues. I was talking with a client yesterday that they were using their business address, their home address as a business address, and they wanted to change it to a virtual office. And the recommendation that I always give is, well, if you do that, then Google is not going to be eventually, because it doesn't happen right away. Google has millions of accounts to grow, but eventually Google is going to catch up with that and is going to see that your address is not a real address. So basically, getting suspended means that Google doesn't trust you. And what you need to do is get Google to trust you back. And how you do that? Well, you need to be transparent. You need to be transparent with your contact information, with your business information, with your product information. Everything needs to match. So that's one of the things that you need to have. Then your data sources. You need to have a product, at least one product here before you can request a review. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do that, because that's the way that Google has to basically review that your products are here. Okay, so once you check all of that, once you make sure that everything is in place, that your business information matches, that you go to the website, and let's check this website as an example. You go to the footer of your website. This is the footer of a website. And you have your contact information displayed. You have your payment methods. You have all your policy links here. And you have information about your brand. And you have real reviews, because these are reviews, but sometimes a lot of people include fake reviews. Fake reviews are what Google basically imported reviews from different stores, even though they can be about the same products, because you are a reseller or a retailer. But these are, by Google standards, fake reviews, not this one that we are showing, but it happens that people import reviews from AliExpress or from different websites because they are the same product and think that that's okay. Well, you can get away with that for the time being, but it's not always going to work. And it's one of the things that Google also check, because in those reviews, there is information about your products, and there could be health claims, let's say. And now that we are talking, you need to check that the products that you are selling are available and they are accepted by Google. Here's a support article for Google about the Google Ads policies. And basically, this article covers what can and cannot be sold and advertised in Google platforms. So you need to go through these and make sure that your products are not in one of these categories. The most common suspension is misrepresentation and website needs improvements. Those are the two most common ones nowadays, and the ones that we are seeing the most. And well, basically, when you contact Google and you ask why you get suspended, you're not going to get a response. When you're dealing with a Google representative, you're not dealing with somebody that is open to help you. This person is trained not to help you. Is trained to give you links and canned responses. Think about it like you're talking to a robot, basically. It's like, or a drunk person sometimes. It can be frustrated, and it will be frustrated. But the most important thing that you need to think about is that your goal is to get the account reinstated, and your goal is to explain to Google why they need to reinstate your account. And that's the game that you need to play. It will be frustrated, it will be maddening. Believe me, I've been there. But that's how you need to do it. And here's template that we created for appealing to Google. There's a link in the description to this template as well, so you can use it and you can go through it. But basically, if you get the chat option or the email option, I'm going to go through that now. This is what you should, or how you should frame your appeal. Saying that you did this and you did that, you fixed your account, you fixed everything, and what you work on, you need to explain that. That's what Google likes. So going back to GMC, to contact Google and request a manual review, avoiding to request an automatic review from this section, what you need to do is go here to the Help Center and Support section, scroll down, click Contact Us. You need to select a Google Ads account. You select it. Then you do account issues. So you can type in here wherever. Other, continue navigating through this. Next step, and then you get to this stage. And these are the options that Google may give you. It depends on each account, the type of access that they will give you. Not everybody is going to get the chat option, the call option. The call option, I don't recommend it, but the chat option and the email option are the most common ones. And sometimes Google doesn't even give you that. But if they do, I recommend the chat option. That way, you will go into chat with a representative. You can do your explanation there, and they will, and what you need to do, and this is the important part, you need to ask for a manual review, and they need to escalate that to a wider team. So it's basically you need to convince them. Sometimes they're, like I say, they are trained to make you request the review yourself. They are trained to do that, to show you the steps on how to do that, but you need to push back on that. You don't need to take what they say as, the truth. No. What you need to say is, I need a manual review, because if you don't get a manual review and you need to and you request to review directly, you're going to get a cooldown period when your account is rejected. All right, so try to avoid that, but at all costs. If this is the first review that you're going to request, well, it's possible that Google will force you to request the first one and use one of your attempts, and you can do that. Up to that point, you can do that. The cooldown period for the first review is usually 1 or 2 days, but after that, it starts being like a week. And for that week, during that week, you cannot do anything on your GMC account. So you can oblige and say, all right, I request one, and after that, you can go and request the manual review, because now the system review your account once, and now you can request manual reviews. And that's the most important thing, requesting manual reviews. That's what you need to do. And all right, you need to check, like I say, everything, your shipping and returns. Everything needs to match between your website and your account. And once you do that, then you're ready to appeal and follow the steps that we explain here. They don't tell you the reason. That's their protocol, and they are not going to help you in that way. They are not going to pinpoint the exact reason why you're being suspended. So what you need to do is you need to audit your website, and you need to audit your GMC account, and make sure that you have all the information there. You need to change the way you see your website. You need to try to see it through Google's eyes, and what Google wants to see. Because sometimes you may say, for example, you have your shipping policy page, and you state on your shipping policy page that you ship to the US, but in reality, you don't ship to Alaska and Hawaii. And if you don't state that, then you are not stating clearly how you ship your products. What you need to do is ship to the US, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, only to the lower 48. That's the level of detail that Google needs. Same for the returns policy, privacy policy, terms and conditions, contact information, all of that needs to be matching exactly with what you declare on your GMC account. And the same with your products. Your product feed needs to match with your product pages, the availability, price, product images, description, everything needs to match there. So right now, the only thing left for you to do after you check everything is going and contact support. And after that, it's not in your hands, it's on Google's hands, because they are the final arbiter here. They are the ones that decide if your account is or not. So this is the misrepresentation policy. You can also go through this and what it means. It will give you a lot of context in terms of what type of products and what type of advertising you can do in Google. Another advice that I will give is, if you guys get your GMC account suspended, and you have a Google Ads account linked using a shopping campaign or PMAX campaign or connected to the GMC, my advice is for you to pause those campaigns, because your Google Ads account can also get suspended because of the GMC suspension. And then you are in another issue, because Google Ads and GMC are two different entities within Google. They don't use the same support team, and they are both really frustrating to deal with. So here in our agency, what we do, we have a few services that can help you. If you're dealing with a GMC suspension now, whether it's misrepresentation or another or anything else, we can help. We audit your account, we find the reason that triggered, and we try to get it fixed. There's going to be a link in the description as well for those services. We also have a school community, the KeyCommerce Academy, and you can get personalized answers there for your specific store, for your specific issues. We have professionals there, like Joseph talking about Google Ads, and you have myself talking about GMC. And we have weekly meetings, weekly Q&As that you can join, and you can pull up your account, and we can go through your issues. There's also a link in the description for that. And we are going to go through a website and what needs to be okay on a website to be compliant with Google. We'll be covering that on our next live session. If this was helpful to you guys, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps other store owners with the same struggles to find us and find our content. So with that said, thank you for joining, guys. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye, guys.